There are 5 watch brands sitting in store windows right now that you must never buy. Not because they look bad, some of them look great, but because the moment your money leaves your hand, the deal is already over in their favor. And then there are 5 brands doing the opposite. Brands where the engineering justifies every dollar, the markup is honest, and the watch on your wrist is actually worth what you paid. Let's start with the ones to walk away from. We start at the top of the price ladder and at the bottom of the value chain. Number 10 on our never buy list is the Hublot Big Bang. It is what happens when a marketing department wins a war against a watchmaker, and nobody notices until the invoice arrives. At retail, the entry-level Big Bang starts at $12,900. Crack open the case, and you will find a Sellita SW300, an off-the-shelf Swiss movement that costs manufacturers between $50 and $150 in bulk. That is less than 1% of the sticker price going toward the engine that actually keeps time. The rest of your money funds a $30 million annual sponsorship machine, Formula One partnerships, FIFA deals, celebrity ambassadors plastered across stadium billboards. Hublot does not sell watches, it sells visibility. And when you decide to sell, Chrono24 data shows basic steel, Big Bangs, routinely losing 35 to 45% of their value in the first year alone. A $12,900 watch becomes a $7,000 watch before the warranty even registers. You are not buying fine watchmaking. You are buying a depreciation schedule dressed up in ceramic and rubber. If Hublot sells you a billboard, number 9 sells you a history lesson, one that stopped being accurate years ago. The Tag Heuer Carrera's racing heritage is real. The Panamericana Road Race, the 1960s motorsport legacy, that history exists. What does not hold up is the modern price tag attached to it. In 2022, Tag Heuer spent $40 million on global advertising. That money did not go into the movement. A steel Carrera with the in-house Heuer 02 caliber retails close to $4,700, but the same watch trades under $2,500 on the gray market the moment it leaves the boutique. Industry estimates put the production cost of the Heuer 02 movement at $500 to $600. Since Tag Heuer was absorbed into the LVMH empire, price hikes have consistently outpaced any meaningful technical upgrades. You are not paying for a breakthrough in watchmaking. You are paying for the privilege of a logo that has been marketed into collective memory and a watch that loses nearly half its value the moment you walk out the door. Moving down the price range does not mean moving away from the problem. It just changes the shape of it. Number 8 is the Invicta Pro Diver, and it has turned fake pricing into a business model, running the same playbook for years. The Pro Diver carries a listed retail price of $199, $295, and sometimes $545. But you will almost never pay that. Invicta's watches are permanently on sale, with flash discounts, bundle deals, and today-only offers that never end. Wayback Machine snapshots confirm what regular buyers already know. The sale price is the real price. The manufacturer's suggested retail price exists only to be crossed out. Inside the case sits a Seiko NH35 movement that costs Invicta between $30 and $50 in bulk, assembled in China and finished to look like a Swiss dive icon. Plating on the case and bracelet is notoriously thin. Owners consistently report visible wear and fading within a year of daily use. Invicta is not selling you a watch. It is selling you the psychological victory of a deal, one engineered from the beginning to make you feel like you won. At least Invicta pretends to be a watch company. Number 7 on this list never really bothered. Daniel Wellington did not build a watch brand. It built an Instagram machine that happens to ship watches. Inside every Daniel Wellington classic sits a Miyota quartz movement, a $5 component dropped into a minimalist case, retailing for €150 to €250. Industry estimates put the total build cost under €30. The rest is pure marketing oxygen. Up to 20% of Daniel Wellington's entire budget is funneled into influencer campaigns, flooding social feeds with discount codes and staged wrist shots. The markup from factory to checkout runs between 500% and 800%. There is no heritage, no technical innovation, no watchmaking tradition. There is a spreadsheet and a social media calendar. The only question is whether you want to fund the next campaign. Number 6 is the most subtle offender on this list, and in some ways the most calculated. Where Daniel Wellington is loud about its hype, the Movado Museum lets the design do the talking. The museum dial is a genuine icon. It has been in the MoMA permanent collection since 1960, and the single dot aesthetic is immediately recognizable. That legacy is real. What is not real is the engineering behind the retail price. Beneath that famous dot sits a generic quartz movement that costs Movado less than $12 to source. Entry models retail from $200, while steel chronograph versions stretch past $1,500, with the same internals throughout. Movado's own SEC filings reveal a gross margin of 62%. More than half of every dollar you spend is profit before a single dollar of advertising even kicks in. The museum dial looks like modern art. It functions like a department store quartz. That gap is entirely intentional. Those are the 5 brands you must never buy. Now, let's talk about the 5 that actually put your money to work. Everything we just exposed comes down to one pattern: paying for the story instead of the watch. Number 5 does the opposite, and it starts at $325. The Seiko Presage cocktail time is where real watchmaking becomes accessible, with no heritage fabrication required. Inside ticks the 4R35 or 4R36 caliber, built entirely within Seiko's own facilities, engineered and manufactured in-house, with a service interval that stretches to a decade. But the defining feature is the dial. Each one is pressed and finished in Seiko's internal workshop, creating light diffusing textures that put watches 3 times the price to shame. Retailing between $325 and $500, the cost to retail ratio sits around 1.5 to 2 times, a fraction of the 5 to 10-fold markup standard in the fashion watch world. The cocktail time does not need to advertise its value, it shows it. If $325 still feels like a stretch, number 4 proves you do not need to spend even half that to get genuine mechanical engineering on your wrist. For just $120, the Orient Bambino delivers something most fashion watches twice its price can, a true in-house automatic movement. The FE6722 caliber is designed, manufactured, and assembled by the same company that signs the dial. It has a 40-hour power reserve, 22 joules, and 21,600 vibrations per hour. Owners consistently report years of worry-free daily wear before a service is ever considered. Orient keeps its markup honest, with cost-to-retail ratios around 1.3 to 1.8 times. The domed crystal and hand-finished dial details give the Bambino a presence that punches far above its class. In a segment crowded with overpriced fashion accessories, the Orient Bambino is a reminder of what a dress watch is actually supposed to be. The Bambino proves you can get serious value at $120. But what happens when you move up the budget and demand that every extra dollar actually buys something? That is exactly what number 3 delivers. The Tissot PRX Powermatic 80 sits between $650 and $800, and it comes with a specification sheet that should not exist at this price point. The Powermatic 80 movement offers an 80-hour power reserve, more than double the standard for entry-level Swiss automatics. Set it down on Friday, and it is still running Monday morning. The secret is a silicone hairspring, a material typically reserved for movements costing several $1,000s more, and it resists magnetic interference from laptops and phones that can push lesser watches off by minutes per day. There is even a Casio SC certified chronometer option for Swiss certified precision. Cost to retail sits around 1.6 to 2 times. Most of what you pay goes into the watch. That is honest engineering. The Tissot earns its price through modern engineering. Number 2 earns it through something harder to fake, a documented history that was never invented in the first place. The Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical is a tool watch with a lineage you can verify. Hamilton supplied hundreds of thousands of field watches to Allied forces in World War II. That history is not a marketing story, it is on record. Inside, the H50 caliber ticks, derived from the ETA 2801 architecture. No proprietary complications, no planned obsolescence. Parts are available, and a full service costs a fraction of what luxury Swiss automatics require. Retail prices range from $495 to $650, backed by a 5-year warranty. Shock resistant to 5G, with a sapphire crystal and a case built to earn its marks honestly. This is not a watch chasing trends. It is a watch built to outlast them. And finally, our number one pick, a watch that makes everything else on this list look complicated, because the best value in watches costs less than dinner. The Casio G-Shock W600 is engineered to survive what luxury brands would never dare to test. A 10-meter drop, 200 meters of water resistance, verified and not aspirational, mud, vibration, extreme pressure. Military units, first responders, and field professionals carry this watch because it has been tested in conditions where failure is not an option. The quartz movement delivers accuracy measured in seconds per month. The battery lasts up to a decade, and when it dies, a replacement costs less than a coffee. The design has not changed since the 1980s because it does not need to. No celebrity endorsements, no invented heritage stories. Just a focused commitment to building something that works, year after year, in conditions where most watches give up.